This story was told by the previous Lubavitcher Rebbe when he was in Chicago in 1942, Tafshin Beis. Among the effects of telling the story, there were people who objected to this because they felt that it taught certain principles of law, of Torah, which are not standard accepted ways of studying. When the rabbis quote a man, they can't use the man as a symbol. Rabbi Baruch Mordcha in our story used the words Akavya-The Mahalalel as being the heel of a davener, the heel of one who prays. How can you take the name of someone and apply it to a nickname that a scorner had used and say that it actually is associated with that? People objected to the Rebbe's usage, loose usage, of taking a name and connecting the content of the name with a particular concept. The previous Rebbe was recalled from Chicago through a telegram that his mother was ill and had to cut short his visit. And afterwards sat Shiva and was mourning that year for the loss of his mother, Rebbe Zishtem. The ensuing discussion as to whether it was appropriate for the Rebbe to utilize the persona of Akavya to teach a lesson was then given over to his son-in-law to respond. And the Rebbe responded the following way, that many rabbis in the Talmud and in the Mishnah would identify people's characteristics through their names. And that indeed, the nature of a person is determined by his soul, and his soul's powers, again, are determined by his or her name. And this is a study within the Torah by itself as to the content of people's names, the significance of their names, and what the person has to do to correct that which he must do in his lifetime or her lifetime. For you see, according to the Kabbalah, we are created by words and letters that are combinations of different verses in the Torah. And different combinations cause different things to happen, till finally it reaches us. And these letters and words, which compose our names, actually define us, define our souls, characteristics, and also define the role that we are to take in this world. And so, his name was Akavya. Akavya means a heel. The difference between the heel and the rest of the body is that the heel goes where even the head is fearful of going. That a person must first and foremost go and do what is necessary. And only after the person does what is necessary will the intellect follow. Akavya teaches us we must all obey God equally. And in the obedience to God, there's really no difference between the greatest of the great and the humblest of the humble. And lest one might think that the humble man cannot reach the highest levels. So Akavya's name is the heel. That even though the name indicated a heel, by working on himself diligently, Akavya became the greatest saint and scholar of Israel through the simple lessons. The simple lesson of accepting the yoke of God by constantly obeying and observing that simple lesson. Know from where you came from. And where are you going? To whom you're going to make an accounting. Akavya grew and grew and grew till he was the greatest scholar of Israel. And although Zalman Leib the Schmeisser never became Akavya, he also grew with his soul, with his sensitivity, and his love to God throughout his lifetime. And his persona was far greater than his critic, the unfortunate